Today we will talk about one of the longest and most controversial conflicts in the world. How did Israel come into being, and what happened on Palestinian soil? Two different promises were made to the same region, and this decision led to tensions that lasted for over 100 years. It's not just a story. It's a story that continues to this day. For hundreds of years, the area known as Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. This large empire controlled the Middle East, North Africa, and parts of Europe. At that time, different peoples lived here. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived in the same neighborhood, and each retained their own religion and culture. On the other hand, the city of Jerusalem was sacred to all three religions. For Jews, it was their ancient homeland. For Muslims, there was the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And for Christians, it was a sacred place associated with Jesus. Although there were differences at the time, there was a relatively stable life in the area. But time passed, and at the beginning of the 20th century, the Ottoman Empire began to weaken. It was at this moment that the world underwent great changes. In 1914, the First World War began. The Ottoman Empire was involved in this war and opposed Great Britain. During the war, Britain made various promises. The Arab leaders were promised independence. At the same time, in 1917, Great Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, which stated that it supported the creation of a national homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine. Two different promises were made in the same place. Subsequently, this led to big problems. After the end of the war, the Ottoman Empire fell, and Britain took control of Palestine. This period is known as the Mandate. But since then, the tension has been building. At the beginning of the 20th century, many Jews began to immigrate to Palestine. This movement was known as Zionism. Some fled persecution in Europe. Some wanted to create their own state. As migration increased, the local Arab population began to worry. They were afraid of losing their land. Tensions escalated, and eventually clashes broke out. By the 1930s, these clashes had intensified. Britain could no longer control this situation. Then the Second World War began. One of the most terrible events of this war was the Holocaust. Nazi Germany killed millions of Jews. After this event, the idea of the need for a secure state for Jews intensified in the world. At the same time, the Arab population opposed the creation of a Jewish state. Both sides considered this place their own. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to solve this problem. According to the plan, Palestine was to be divided into two states, one state for Jews and one state for Arabs. On the other hand, Jerusalem will be under international control. The Jewish leaders agreed to this plan. However, Arab leaders opposed it. From that moment on, the conflict escalated even more. In 1948, Israel declared independence. Immediately after this decision, the war began. Neighboring Arab states entered the war. Violent clashes have occurred in the area. As a result of the war, Israel gained more control over the land than was originally intended. At the same time, about 700,000 Palestinians were forced to leave their homes. They fled to neighboring countries. This event is known to the Palestinians as the Nakba, which means heavy losses. Many of these people could not return. Today, it is estimated that the number of Palestinian refugees, including their descendants, exceeds 5 million. This is one of the most serious consequences of the conflict. Even after 1948, the conflict did not stop. In 1967, another big war took place. This war is known as the Six-Day War. In this war, Israel gained control of the West Coast, Gaza, and other areas. After this incident, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were forced to relocate. In the following decades, there were more clashes. According to some reports, tens of thousands of people died in this conflict. There are both civilians and children among them. It's not just a decimal number, which means that everyone has their own destiny. The situation in the Gaza Strip is particularly difficult. Millions of people live in this area in very cramped conditions. In some years, thousands of people have been killed and tens of thousands injured in clashes. The infrastructure has been destroyed, and people's lives are going through difficult conditions. Tensions have not stopped on the West Coast either. There are regular clashes between the local population and the security forces. It also directly affects people's daily lives. Another important aspect of this conflict is the issue of security. The Israeli side stresses the need to protect its security. The attacks and threats that have existed for many years play a big role in their policies. At the same time, the Palestinians insist on their right to return to their land and establish their own state. Here, both sides tell their own story, their own losses, and their own dangers. Therefore, this conflict cannot be understood by looking only from one side. Even years later, this issue has not been fully resolved. There were various peace talks, but it was difficult to achieve a sustainable result. The world is trying to solve this problem, but it remains one of the most difficult conflicts. Even today, this region is in the spotlight of the whole world. Every new event, every clash, raises the question again: when will it end? The answer may not be found immediately, but understanding the story is the key to a deeper understanding of the problem. This is not just a story from the past. This is a story that affects the present and the future.